Hi, welcome to Salt City Knits. I'm Emily, and this is a podcast all about my making life. Specifically today, it's all knitting. So I'm happy to be back. It's episode 16, and I'm recording in Salt Lake City, Utah, where I live with my husband and my two youngest children. And I have two married children and a amazingly beautiful, gorgeous grandson. And I'm excited to be recording today. It's been such an amazing, crazy, busy, but fantastic couple of weeks since I recorded last. You'll notice I have a new setup today. I am trying this new location, hopefully for better lighting, and I got a new camera, so that's also exciting. Hopefully it adds to the video and doesn't distract. I am going to do a little bit of a life update, and then I have a winner from last week's podcast and details about our new knit along. Then I have some finished objects, and I have a little tutorial in there and works in progress, and then some dream knitting at the end. So I'm excited to be here. It's, like I said, been a crazy couple of weeks. If you are a returning viewer, then you already know that I volunteer I actually founded a nonprofit organization called Heroic Youth. And we had our big our pinnacle events, our biggest events of the summer, not this last week, but the week before. So the end of August. And it was just so successful and so powerful. We had 630 kids from ages 8 to almost 19. We had hundreds of volunteers and just an amazing 3-day event, and it was just so great. I got a little bit sunburned, and I haven't been able to wear any makeup other than like a little bit of like eye makeup and stuff, because my skin has been just kind of dry and flaky since then. And so I'm looking extra freckly right now, but you know, that's me and that's great. But it's just been really great. It took me a good week to recover. So tired and just like emotionally exhausted, you know. Being in charge of an event that size is just draining. I'm not in charge on my own. I'm in charge along with my husband and other people that are on our board of directors. And we have committee leaders and, like I said, hundreds of volunteers, but it's a big task, and we do it every year. And every year I keep thinking, why are we so insane? Why are we so insane like this? But one of the fun highlights, we have 2 main youth leaders each year. They are over the training and the experience of all of the kids, with a lot of help and direction from the adult leaders. And this year, my son, Isaac, was the male youth leader over all the boys. And so that meant that he trained 115 teenage boys, as well as 200 little knights, little kids. And that position in our organization is called Royal Master Knight. And we have specific like uniforms that go along with those. And my daughter, Aria, made a little matching Royal Master Knight uniform for my grandson, Adam. And so I just love this picture so much. I love how adorable Isaac is. You can see he's red and tired and hot, but just grinning from ear to ear and loving on his cute little nephew. Oh my goodness, it was so cute. I couldn't stop. I wanted to go around to every single person that was in the park and just say, have you seen my grandson? Have you seen how cute he is? Have you seen how he matches my son? It was just such a proud mom moment. So really, really awesome. And that is now complete. We have our wrap-up events for the year. Our calendar year for our organization runs November 1st through October 31st. And so we have 2 months of wrap-up things, but they're mostly kind of follow-up debriefs and discussions, and we have an awards ceremony and a royal ball and some things like that with the teenagers. And so that's really fun. So that was great. Let's see. We also homeschool. Well, I now homeschool one child. That's a strange place to be in. I remember when it was all 4 of them and they were all at different levels and everybody was doing different things. And now I have my one and she's mostly self-directed. And so it's just a different world. But we had our not back to school week last week. We have a Commonwealth, which is it's similar to like a homeschool co-op that started up today. And so I did that earlier. I taught a class on worldviews and I'm teaching that class to 17-year-olds and that was really great. And so it's a great time of year. I'm wearing my pumpkin spice colored shirt. So ready for fall. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that feeling, at least us Northern Hemisphere people. I know you are. I wonder if anybody else is. I know we're feeling it. Not everybody, but a lot of us. So, been enjoying candles and just some cooler temperatures. Today was not a cooler temperature. I was so hot before I started recording that I had to have a fan just blowing on me to cool me off so I could even bear to sit down and record. But yesterday it rained and rained and rained all day. It was glorious. Oh, made me so happy. So other good things coming out. This is one thing I wanted to talk to you about. I haven't mentioned this on the podcast, but my son Isaac and I have both been working on our health this last several months. Starting in May, he and I both kind of made some dietary changes and lifestyle changes. And I've lost 37 pounds and he's lost 50, which is amazing. To be young and a male when it comes to losing weight. How nice would that be? He loses it easier than I do, but I'm so proud of both of us. So it's not something that I am interested in trying to be fitting into any specific perceived standards of beauty. I just want more energy and health and strength and flexibility and stamina. And this has been really great for me. My health has definitely improved. And so that has been an awesome experience. This downside of that is I am running out of clothes. And so, well, he is for sure. We just spent last night ordering a bunch of clothes for him, but I am down to, I think, 4 shirts and 2 pair of pants that I can wear and a skirt. Oh, I have a dress. Anyway, so it's okay. Like I have clothes, but I did have a large wardrobe and now I have a small wardrobe. And so every day I get up and try something else on. And then either I wear it for the day or I put it in the pile to either be donated or gifted or maybe altered. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to alter a lot because I'm ready to let go of the old and bring in the new. And so anyway, but that has been fun. It's also meant that I am not knitting any sweaters for myself. And I'm just waiting right now to do that because I am changing sizes fairly rapidly. And so I don't want to cast on a sweater that might not fit me by the time I finish the sweater. It's not that rapid, but I think you get the idea. By the end of the season, at least, I want to be able to wear it at least for the season or 3 or 4. And so I'm just holding off on knitting sweaters for myself at this time. And I'm so used to knitting sweaters. I knit a lot of sweaters for myself and I kind of miss it. So I guess I actually have to knit sweaters for other people. I like knitting sweaters for myself. I know I'm going to appreciate it. I think that was all the life update I wanted to do for now. So last episode, I asked the question, what shape of shawl do you prefer to knit and to wear? And interesting that I loved seeing the results. A lot of you liked different shapes, from triangles, asymmetrical, half circular, etc. But the overwhelming response was crescent shaped shawls. That was the biggest, most consistent answer by a landslide, like a lot. So that was really cool to see. I love crescent shaped shawls. I'm actually working on a design for a crescent shaped shawl right now, which I'm excited to share with you. I don't know if it will be next time, but in the next month or two. And I drew a winner to receive a pattern of your choice from my patterns, for my designs. And that winner is Leanne Suggs. I think that's how you say it. Leanne Suggs is the winner. And so Leanne, if you can just send me a message, I will try to comment and tag you as well. But send me a message either on Instagram at Salt City Knits, or you can send me an email, and my email address is listed in the box below. And let me know what pattern you would like of my designs, and also whether you would like it on Ravelry or whether you would like it just emailed to you. And I am happy to do that. So thank you, Leanne, and everybody else who commented on that one. That was really great information. We are going to begin and I mentioned this last time, but we are officially beginning, I say we, you and I, and anybody else who wants to join us, officially joining the fall knit along that I am calling the SCK Shawl Along. So the Salt City Knits Shawl Along. This is going to run through September and October. And this is just a knit or crochet a shawl in any pattern that you would like. If you share that on Instagram, you can be entered to win prizes. And I will be announcing those prizes in our next episode. But I keep getting distracted because I'm trying to remember what note I didn't write down. I know what it was. Double dipping is totally allowed. There are lots of other great knit alongs going on right now. And so if you are participating in another knit along and you are knitting a shawl, you absolutely can tag SCK Shawl Along as well and be entered into both knit alongs. And whips are definitely encouraged, and you do not have to finish in order to be entered to win. So that will run September through October. So we will finish it up at the end of October, and then I will draw prizes at the end of September and at the end, well, probably the first week of October and then the first week of November. So the first week of October for all the entries during September, and then the first week of November for all the other entries. And like I said, next time I will share what the prizes are, and they're going to be really fun. So grab your needles and grab your yarn and cast on a shawl. And speaking of shawls, I do have the Sugar House shawl. All of a sudden my mind went blank. The Sugar House shawl is in its test knitting phase right now. It's been through my tech editor and is in testing, and I'm hoping to be releasing that one at the first week of October as well. But if you're interested in knitting any Salt City Knits patterns, there's the Scrappy Bias shawl, the Good Cheer shawl, the Dixie Creek, and the Oquirrh Sunset wrap as well, that will all qualify for that as well. All right, that's our knit along information. This is my first knit along, hosting my first knit along on my own. So super excited. And now let's talk finished objects. You would think, with as busy as I was, that I would have no finished objects, but I do, and I'm really excited to share them with you. So my first one is this pair of socks. Ooh, let's see, can you focus? Come on, camera. That just wants to focus on my face. Here we go. There, no, come on. New camera, new tricks that I have to learn. There you go, that's the yarn. These socks were knit in Sweet Georgia in her Tough Love sock. I guess I just hold things closer to myself. And the colorway is Rose Day. And it's just a really soft peachy pink with these fun little speckles in it. And I just did a stockinette stitch, so a vanilla sock. But this yarn is delicious. It's so lovely. It is, it's an 80/20 superwash merino nylon with 425 yards in a 115 gram skein. So that means it's a little plumper, a little rounder. It's got a little bit more body to it than some other sock yarns. And it just knits up so, just beautifully. I don't always enjoy knitting a vanilla sock unless I'm doing a self-striping yarn or a patterning yarn, so that I have some interest. And this does have the speckles in it, which are really fun. But I just absolutely loved knitting every stitch of this, just enjoying the process. It was just so meditative and comforting and, I don't know, rhythmic. It was just really good for a time of stress. So that is my first finished object. I did 20 rounds for the cuff, and then I knit 65 rounds for the leg. I did my traditional heel, flap, and turn, and then knit the foot to my size and a rounded wedge toe. And I knit on 2.25 millimeter needles for socks. So that was lovely. They're just so squishy and gorgeous. And I'm really sad that I'm not focusing those. I'm gonna have to learn how to, there we go. Learn how to do better at this. There we go. All right. The next finished object are these socks. You guys, I love them. I definitely wanted to do fall socks, self-striping, and this colorway is from PNW Purls, and I've talked about her before. Love her yarns. This is the label. And this colorway is Autumn Leaves. And I wanted to do something fun with the patterning. And so I just added this little row of eyelets just on my right side, on the front side of the foot. And I only did it every other color change. So not every row. Let's see if I can get that closer and focused. Not every row, but every other row. Or every other color change, I should say. And I really love just the simple little interest that shared. It was so easy. So this was a 64 stitch sock. And the way I did those eyelets is when I would come to the color change, I wanted it so it was the first row, that the full row would be in the new color. So if it was changing colors halfway through the row, I would wait until the next round. But that first time that I knit the full row in the new color, I would knit two, yarn over, knit two together, and repeat that across the front. So knit one, knit two, yarn over, knit two together. That was a 4 stitch. And I just did that across the front of the sock. And I was working on magic loop, so it was very easy. All those stitches were all on one needle. And then I would just do plain knitting other than that. I added in minis from my stash for the heels, toes, and cuffs. And let's see if I can get that to focus again. There's some sparkle in that kind of cinnamon color. I don't know if it's showing up, maybe a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of sparkle there. But these were just ones out of my stash. So I didn't have labels on them or anything. But I think they work really well. And I just absolutely love the self-striping yarn from PNW Purls. She's so great. She has so many fun striping colorways. Oh, love her stuff. So good. All right, the next, this was a fun one. So there's a little bit of a story behind this project. One of my closest friends, Margaret, was in Scotland earlier this year. And while she was there, she found some yarn that she bought to I think she bought it specifically to make a Musselburgh hat, and it is Kinross 4-ply. Let's see if that will. And she, it's 100% superfine lamb's wool, non-superwash. And she was talking about how it was a nice yarn when she originally knit with it, but when she blocked it, it just became even more lovely. And she talked it up so much that 3 other friends, we all ordered this yarn together so we could share shipping. And I got enough to make my own Musselburgh hat. And so it is this kind of bluey, gray, green, and then this really soft pink. This pink is called Seashell, and this color is called Inverary. And I love this yarn. It is amazing. It comes in 50-gram skeins, so I just ordered one of each. I didn't know what I was gonna think of it. I ordered one of each. I definitely want to order more of this. As far as I can tell, it only comes in 4-ply in a fingering weight. It is, I think, it's not a heavily spun yarn, if that makes sense. It's easy to break it if you pull on it and stuff, but very durable in the knitted fabric. It has such a nice body to it, like it feels sturdy, but so soft and just gorgeous. And I'm not a big hat wearer. I don't wear a lot of hats. I don't feel like they're very flattering on me. I have my hair pulled up, so this is kind of interesting. But I think I can get away with this. I think it works. So I mean, probably not with my hair all piled up on top of my head like it is right now. But I chose to knit a Musselburgh hat specifically because now my hair is falling down. Hold on. It's just gonna be an operator error day today, I think. Just because I think all 4 of us decided to all knit Musselburghs with this. So this is a pattern by Ysooda Teague. It's really fun because you just cast on at the tip, you work your increases, you work down, change color wherever you decide, knit down, knit your decreases, and bind off, or yeah, catch up your stitches. And then you block it laying flat. It looks like a capsule, doesn't it? Like a pill. My husband said it looks like a decongestant or something. Anyway, and then you tuck one end up inside the other. I'm sure everybody's seen the Musselburgh hat, so this is probably not helpful information. You're like, we already know that. And there you go. It does block beautifully. It's not like it's silky soft. It's just lovely. I don't know how to describe it. It's just absolutely lovely. It's got that little bit of natural heathering in it that I just absolutely love. Come on, there we go. Oh, it's so pretty. And this seashell color is also just gorgeous. Come on, camera. You guys, I promise I'll get the hang of the new camera. There we go. Anyway, thank you for your patience with me. So that was Musselburgh or Musselburgh, I'm not sure how you say it, by Ysooda Teague. And it was in the Kinross 4-ply in Seashell and Inverary. Lovely, lovely. Those are all my finished objects. But I did want to I had a couple of you asked, I don't remember if it was after my last episode or the one before, about stitch management when it comes to using magic loop doing your heel gussets. And so I made a little video. I had mentioned before that I do my cords slightly different than I've seen a lot of other people do it. So I made a video for you that I'm just going to insert here. It's about 5 minutes long. If you are not interested in that, feel free to skip ahead. But if you want to see how I orient my cords to do magic loop when I'm working the gusset decreases of my socks, then watch this video and it will show you. I have 2 methods and it will show you those 2 methods. This is how I do my gusset decreases with magic loop. I have 2 different ways, so I'm going to show you both ways. And it's all about the way you orient your needles. So up to this point, up to the time where I've been working my gusset decreases, I have had the front half of my stitches placed all on one needle and the back half of my stitches on the other needle, with my magic loops coming up at this point and this point. But when I start doing my gusset decreases, so when I'm picking up my stitches along this heel flap edge, I move where my magic loop points are and reorient my needles. So this is one of the ways that I do that, and in a minute I'll show you the other way. But in this way, I move my loop to the middle of the front of the foot. You can see that there. It's right in the middle. And to the middle of the bottom of the heel. Now I've just finished all of my decreases, so I'm back to having my 32 stitches on each needle. But originally I had, when I picked all of these up, I had 26 stitches on this side of the stitch marker. And then I've been working my decreases along here. And I just place a stitch marker between the stitches for the front of the leg or the front of the foot and the stitches for the back. And that is how I know after my stitch marker I knit one, and then I do my SSK, or on the other side I'm coming, you know, this direction and would be doing knit two together and knit one and then doing the front. So that is one way that I orient my needles. But I have another way that I will often use too. And which method I use is entirely based on mood and if I have a couple stitch markers handy. If I don't have stitch markers handy, like if I'm out and about and didn't bring them with me, or I don't know, it's really just based on my mood. I'll do both. So I'll show you the second way. Now this is the second way that I will do my magic loop. And as you can see, I still have the stitch markers dangling on there, but those are not anything that I would normally have. And in this method, I pull up, I have 3 points of loop, and those are at my dividing point. So I put all my front stitches in one section, and then I divide my back stitches into 2 sections like this, and I have a magic loop here. The pros of this, there's no stitch marker needed. Also, if you have an involved stitch pattern that goes across the front, the one I'm doing here is very simple, but if you have an involved stitch or a stitch pattern that's going across the front of your foot, it's easier to keep track of that stitch pattern without having to have a magic loop in the middle of it. The cons of this are that you have to reorient, you know, and pull your loops 3 times in a round rather than twice in a round. And occasionally you can get a little bit of laddering at this bottom one. I don't really have a problem with that. I haven't really had that issue, but I know other people that have had that issue. I jokingly say this looks like a uterus because uterus, anyway, okay. But this is the other method that I use. I find that if you're going to use this method, you really do need a 40-inch cable, not a 32-inch. Whereas you could do the other magic loop method with a 32-inch. I always use 40-inch cables anyway, so that's not even an issue for me. But this is the second way. I would say traditionally this has been my most common method of doing magic loop. I have been using that first method that I showed a little bit more often recently. But there you go. Those are the 3 or the 2 ways that I do magic loop and orient my stitches. The wonderful thing about that is, about this one too, is that each of these sections are a little shorter. Now again, I have completed my gusset decreases for this sock. And so I am back to my original stitch count, and I just wanted to make sure to show this since I had had some questions before I, you know, went on to the next stage of knitting the foot. But even in your
at the beginning, for me, I would have 26 stitches here, 32 and 26. And so that keeps those sections fairly quick. But again, that does mean you're orienting your cords, you know, pulling your cords and then pulling your needle out to go to the next magic loop section 3 times in a round instead of just twice. But those are my 2 methods.
Hopefully that was helpful and answered those questions that I received. Let's talk about works in progress. I actually have a finished object and a work in progress that I cannot share with you right now. I will when I can, but they are both for a secret swap that we do with our little knitting group. And I've talked about this in a previous podcast, but it's a gift that I'm knitting for somebody in our knitting group. And so I cannot share those right now. I wish I could, but I have 2 that I can share with you. So first off, I started this one day. I was just kind of, I don't know, feeling a little blah about other knitting projects. And I have this whole bag of beautiful little bits and bobs and scraps that I wanted to be able to utilize. And so I cast on this little blanket. Now I think this is like a northeasterly blanket. I didn't use a pattern, I just kind of started it. But this is how much I've done. So it's not very much. It's just this one strip, that much. But I've just started this and it's just scraps. And I'm just decreasing on my edges and increasing in my center to give me that little kind of arrow shape to it. I am using 1.5, US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter needle. Years ago, I took these DPNs and I glued these little owl beads on them to make them into short, straight needles so that I could knit blanket squares. I was knitting a mitered cornered blanket at the time with them. And so they were just sitting there looking so cute. And there was this bag of scraps and I just thought, I'm gonna do that. So I think what I'm gonna do with these is I'm gonna knit each strip kind of in a color theme. So this one I'm doing purples, pinks, and yellows. And the next one I think I'm gonna do like blue, turquoise kind of a theme. And then I'll probably do like a peachy green, a peach and green kind of theme. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And just do different themes for each of the strips. But I will probably be joining them as I go. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go along. The thing that I find about this is you would think it was a good taken or on the go project. It is, but not an in the car project. For some reason, I find that when I'm knitting in garter stitch, it's a little harder than knitting stockinette. Like I can purl all day, no problem. But if I have to knit into garter stitch, I have to really it's not like a difficult thing, but to pay a little bit more attention to make sure I'm not knitting into the stitch below. I have a tendency to do that just with the rhythm, just because those rows tend to kind of scrunch up against each other. And so if I'm knitting in the car, I feel all the movement in the car and stuff more than I do if I'm knitting like just in a vanilla sock or in a stockinette project. So, but it's really fun, super fun. This is how much of this I knit yesterday in the car. It would have been double that if it wasn't in the car. I was running errands with my husband all day yesterday. And so yeah, that didn't work. But I love this cute bag full of little bits. Isn't it so fun? Oh, just so much fun. It brings me so much happiness just to have the bag, the cute bag. I've got my little notions kit and my measuring tape in there as well. So I have that work in progress. And then this is a bag of whips. There's actually 3 works in progress in here. And let me be honest, these are 3 about to be whips. I actually haven't started in on them yet. So let me show you what I've got and then it will make more sense. I have 3 sock tubes in here. So the first one is one that it's the entire skein into a sock tube. My sister Deborah at Candy Shop Yarns has a sock knitting machine, circular sock knitting machine. She cranked this tube for me. This is a Knitterly Things rainbow. It was, I actually don't remember. Do I have the yarn label? I don't think I have the yarn label. It's another one of those where I've had it in my stash for so long, I don't actually know, but it was obviously a rainbow stripe of one type or another that I ordered years ago, and I've had it in my stash, and I am going to use these 2 minis to do heels, toes, and cuffs in this. So I will be cutting this into sections, and it's afterthought everything socks basically. This is so fun, and if you haven't done this before, I will put a link below. I will try to put a link below to either my sister talking about it or somebody that she refers to. She has some great information about how to do these. So I've got this one that I'm going to be cutting into and turning into 2 pair of long regular length socks, and I will have leftovers. And then I have this one that is a leftover. I already have put a stitch marker where I'm going to divide. Right there is where I'm going to divide for the 2 socks. So I just am measuring out the number of rows that there are and then dividing it directly in half. I will put my cuffs on each end, my toes on each end, and then once I know who I want to make it for, I will figure out where I need to put the heel. And these will be shorties. I mean, they won't be like cuff, heel. They will have a little bit of leg in there, but they will be shorty socks. And I am going to use this yarn to be my contrast. I probably will need to find another scrap. I don't think I'm going to get heels and toes and cuffs out of this. Maybe, we'll see. We will see. I probably will just get toes and cuffs and find a different one to be the heel. And then another a leftover that I have, I've done the same thing with the stitch marker, is this one. Both of these, by the way, are Candy Shop Yarns colorways. I think this one is Whorehound is the color. And this one, I'm actually not sure what the colorway is, but I know it's a Candy Shop Yarns colorway. And so I've done the same thing here where I've just marked with the stitch marker or a progress keeper the middle point, and I will put in the heels and or the cuffs and toes, and then put in the heels once I know who they're going to be for. The green here, the orange here, that is waste yarn. It's just waste yarn that is used in getting the tube started, and then you add in your yarn. So that just pulls out. So that is what I have left of this one. And this one, I am doing these 2 minis as my heels and toes and cuffs. Now I really like doing afterthought heels. They are really fun. I know a lot of people who are afraid of cutting into their yarn, and I have actually never steeked anything. So I don't know that that's been, I'm afraid of doing it. I just haven't felt the urge to knit any specific pattern that was steeked yet. But I have every plan on doing that in the future. But there is nothing simpler than this. It's so easy. You use 2 sets of needles, and I thought I pulled them out, but I did. So I have my 2 sets of magic loop that I'm going to be doing. And you insert your needles along your row of stitches. You're just doing it on the, this is I only need 1 set for a heel, but for when you're separating it into 2 socks, I will do the 2 sets. So I will insert the needle along the row just below where my stitch marker is all the way around. And then I'll insert the other needle into the row just above my stitch marker all the way around. That leaves that one row in between. And then I will snip just one little strand of that and then unravel that entire round, and it will separate out into two, both of which will already be on the needles. So there are no live stitches just left hanging out there. I've already got them on the needles. You do it very similar when you're cutting in your heel. You'll insert one needle, one of your ends of your needle into the row of stitches just below, and the other one into the row just above the place where your stitch marker is, where you want your heel to be. You snip your thread and then you unravel just to the sides, and that gives you ends left to weave in, and all of your stitches are already on your needles, so there's no live stitches just laying around. So it's very, very it's very easy. It's very easy to do it. I think the hardest thing when you're first learning is just how to read and make sure you're right in line in that row. And if you just take your time and do it, you'll be just fine. But that will be really fun. So I put all of these in one bag because they all need the same process. And I'm just gonna start working through them. And these will most likely end up being Christmas presents. So I'm gonna do those. And I think that will actually use up all the sock tubes that I have left, which will be great. I don't like things, I mean, it's like I love having a stash, but I also love the satisfaction of using up things in the stash, and especially the leftovers. There's just something so satisfying, isn't there, about finishing up leftovers and using that every little bit. Like in that blanket that I've started, I'm using every little bit of that yarn. Knit until you run out, then change color to the next one. And it's just, ooh, there's just so satisfying. What are your favorite projects to use your scraps and leftovers on? I would love to hear that. Please comment below and tell me what you love to knit with your scraps and leftovers, whether it's socks or cowls or shawls, or if you have specific patterns you really enjoy. Please share that below. All right, I have some dream knitting. I'm so excited. First off, I have to share, I am definitely casting on another pair of fall socks, and I'm going to be using these minis. Look at them. If I can get it to focus, look at them. Come on, focus. They're so pretty. Oh, they're so pretty. These are from Candy Shop Yarns. They're her gumball minis, and this is the Cinnamon Spice and Everything Nice mini set. I love those colors. You've got that rich pumpkin-y color, this deep purple, oh, that mossy green, this awesome warm nutty brown, and a very indigo denim-y, darker than denim. So I am definitely going to be casting on a pair of socks with these. And then the other thing that I'm excited to be doing is in October, I am going to be doing the Geo Gradient Mystery Knit Along. So Stephen West's October Mystery Knit Along shawl. I did participate last year in the Twist and Turns Knit Along. I really enjoyed the whole process. I love the mystery. I love picking the yarns, participating, seeing other people and everybody work, you know, lots of people working on the same thing. I had two other friends who were knitting along. And so we would share pictures back and forth. That was super fun. That one, and quite frankly, lots of Stephen West patterns in general are not really my aesthetic. They're not really my style, but I still definitely want to participate again because I learned so many new techniques. I just really, really enjoy it. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that this shawl is going to have more of a feel of like a Starflake or an Exploration Station or a Slip Stravaganza that has kind of a, I don't know what the right word is. They have kind of a more classic feel to them, especially in the shaping. I assume it's not going to be as big as a Starflake, which is a 4 skein shawl, because this one only calls for 3 skeins, calls for 3 colors. But I'm hoping it's going to have more of that classic shaping. I guess it's the crescent shaping or even the half circle. But the name Geo Gradient to me reads blockier, geometric, interesting shaping. So I'm just rolling with it and gonna learn and enjoy the process. And my stripes or twists and turns, sorry, my twists and turns shawl ended up being absolutely beloved by my daughter. So somebody's gonna love it. And my colors, oh my goodness. You know what, I just lied. It is 4 colors. It's not 3, it's 4 colors. I don't even know why I said it was 3. All of you who are familiar with this are yelling at the screen right now. It's 4 colors, it's 4 skeins. So maybe it will be nice and big. My color palette, I am so excited for. I am using all Dandelion and Dogwood yarns. Dandelion and Dogwood is based in the UK and owned by Amy and Jen. They are sisters and they are delightful. And so I have picked out, I was talking back and forth with Amy, and I picked out these 4 colors. And so the palest color, the order that they're going to go in is from light to dark, or I guess this one's not a super dark gradient, but the lightest is Maybe Baby. The next one is that rosy pink, and it is called May's Choice, which refers to the pink house in The Secret Life of Bees. Absolutely love that. And then the next color is called You're in a Cult, Call Your Dad. I think that is a nod to My Favorite Murder podcast. Then the deepest color is that one Pumpkin Spice? Or I think that's Pumpkin Spice. I will make sure to note below because I might be telling you the wrong color. But those are going to be the 4 colors. So I'm going from pale pink to a more rosy pink to a rich mustardy gold to a pumpkin color. And I am so excited about those colors. So as I think is always going to be the case when you are doing a mystery knit along of any type, regardless of who the designer is, you want to love your yarns. You want to love them together and you want to love them individually because you don't know what your finished product is going to look like in the design. So you can't base it. This is definitely a process. It's not a product knit. So you really need to love the process. You need to love the yarn. Oh, and by the way, I'm doing all 4 of those colors. I've ordered them on their glittery gold stellina base. So we're going to have some sparkle. Yay. There's almost nothing better than pinks and golds and sparkles. Makes me happy. So I'm looking forward to that in October. My birthday is the first week of October. So I always think of I haven't done this always, but the times that I've done it, I think of it as a birthday gift to myself. I think that is everything that I have for you today. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you soon. Now that I am post Summit, that's our event, Summit. Now that Summit is over, I should be able to record much more frequently. I might even do weekly podcasts through these 2 months with our knit along. We'll see how it goes. Just feeling the urge to knit everything. I don't know if anybody else out there is feeling that way, but I want to cast on every project, knit everything all day long. So the second best to knitting all day long is talking about knitting. So I hope you have a wonderful week and that you are enjoying all of your making, and I look forward to talking to you next time. See you soon. Bye.